Even though the NBA community can be considered as a big family, after all, the NBA is extremely competitive, so most players have something to prove. And it's not crazy to see players that dislike each other go at it every time they have to play, building some of the most iconic rivalries in the history of the game. And we all know that trash talk is one of the most prominent features of the sporting world, right? So let's see the 10 NBA players who hated each other. Number 10, Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverley. Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverley have one of the most intense rivalries in the NBA. The beef between the pair has been ongoing ever since 2013, when Beverley attempted to go for a steal, with the latter sideswiping his opponent's knee. The incident left Westbrook in agony as he winced in pain, with scans later revealing he had suffered a torn meniscus. The injury would rule Westbrook out for the remainder of the playoffs and most of the summer, and the two haven't gotten on ever since. Since the initial play, Beverley has continually gotten physical with Westbrook whenever they match up. During a particular duel in OKC, Beverley earned a technical foul for shoving the OKC Dynamo out of bounds. Later in the game, clearly undeterred by his punishment, Beverley dove near Westbrook's legs once again. Suffice it to say, it's hard to see a future reconciliation between these two players. Number 9, Shaquille O'Neal and Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh is the more reserved of the pair, but Shaq has never had a problem voicing his opinion. It's not a secret that Shaq doesn't love Bosh. He targets him without any problems, especially when Chris won 2 NBA championships with LeBron and D. Wade. O'Neal famously referred to the Heat of the time as the Big Two, purposely leaving Bosh out. During his time with the Suns, the Big Cactus referred to him as the RuPaul of big men. This comment was made after the then Raptors big man remarked that O'Neal had benefited from uncalled 3-second violations on his way to dropping 45 points on Bosh's squad. Number 8, Kevin Garnett versus Charlie Villanueva. The Big Ticket, or Kevin Garnett, was a truly crazy competitor. He rarely went out of energy to provoke his opponents to win. This is the man that hit his head on a stanchion before every game, enjoyed an average of 3 primal roars a game, and reveled in psychologically decimating his opponents. And of course, he also loved to talk, which made him a natural choice to join the ESPN crew once he retired from the NBA. As he aged and diminished athletically, his trash talking ratcheted up a couple of notches, sometimes even crossing a line. And here is a similar case against former Detroit Pistons forward Charlie Villanueva. After a game between the Celtics and the Pistons, Villanueva tweeted that Garnett called him a cancer patient. While Garnett clarified that he called his opponent a cancer to his team and the league, Villanueva was one of the players that stopped caring about basketball once they got paid, and nobody believed him. Number 7, Kobe Bryant and Dwight Howard. Kobe Bryant was never shy about his opinions. Kobe and Dwight Howard reportedly never got along as teammates and had a dust-up when the Lakers met the Rockets, Howard's team. Kobe took offense to Howard throwing his elbows after getting a rebound and called him soft, among other things. He later apologized, saying Howard is a teddy bear. Later, Bryant revealed how the beef started. "I tried teaching Dwight, I tried showing him, but the reality is that when you have a perception of what it is to win a championship, and most perceptions of what it's like to win are a very outgoing, very gregarious locker room where you pick each other up and you're all friends all the time. That's the perception, and I think that's what his perception was of what the idea is. But when he saw the reality of it, it made him uncomfortable, and it's very tough to be able to fight through that, to deal with that challenge, and I don't think he was willing to deal with that uncomfortable and combative nature." Number 6, Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan. Well, this is one of the most storied feuds in the history of the league. During his time in the NBA, Isaiah Thomas consistently played the role of villain, fairly or unfairly, while Michael Jordan was beloved by fans worldwide. It all started with Thomas presumably proposing a freeze-out of Jordan in the 1985 All-Star Game. Rumor has it that then friends, more on that in a minute, Thomas and Magic Johnson agreed to stop the confident and cocky young player MJ from dominating the game. While Magic later got along with MJ, Thomas was his opponent in the Eastern Conference, and his Pistons played exceptionally hard against Jordan's Bulls. When the Bulls finally won the confrontation in the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals, Thomas and other Pistons walked by their bench without shaking their hands. MJ took his revenge by keeping Thomas out of the 1992 Dream Team, which was coached by the Pistons head coach Chuck Daly. In the Bad Boys documentary, Jordan admitted that he understands what Thomas and company did, and that playing against them helped elevate his game, but no signs of peace are on the horizon. Number 5, Brent Barry and Tony Parker. Tony Parker is a Spurs legend. The point guard had such an incredible role in San Antonio's biggest era of success that his number was retired in 2019. His role in 4 of the organization's 5 championships means he will forever live in the hearts of Spurs fans. However, there was a period where things didn't look so rosy for the athlete. In fact, the Spurs almost traded Parker. None of it had anything to do with his play or behavior on the court. He'd had a big role in pushing the team to a division title the year before. It was entirely about his cheating and how it impacted one teammate in particular. This teammate matchup is the ultimate case of breaking bro code. It was discovered that Parker, at the very least, had an inappropriate sexting relationship with Brent Berry's wife, Erin. While she denied that there was any physical relationship, this infidelity ultimately led to Parker's divorce with Eva Longoria, as well as the dissolution of Brent and Erin's marriage. Tony Parker simply got way too greedy. He already had Eva, there was no need to go and get cozy with his teammate's wife. Number 4, Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton. Here we have one of the most infamous locker room incidents in the history of the NBA or the whole sports world. While the details of what exactly happened that day differ depending on who tells the story, there are some key points that we know and will share with you. During the 2009 season, both players brought weapons to the Wizards locker room, with Arenas prodding Crittenton to pick one. Crittenton responded by pointing his own loaded gun at Agent Zero. We also know that this confrontation was not the first between the two, and the argument stemmed from a gambling debt that Arenas refused to pay out on. Different sources placed the debt at different amounts, but according to Caron Butler's retelling in his autobiography, the amount was $1,100. Number 3, DeShaun Stevenson and LeBron James. DeShaun Stevenson and LeBron James had one of the most bizarre feuds in the NBA. During James's first stint with the Cleveland Cavaliers, he and the former NBA star clashed on and off the court. Back in 2008, the Washington Wizards and Cavs met in the playoffs for a third straight year. During that series, the long-standing feud between Stevenson and James boiled over. A Jay-Z diss track aimed at Stevenson set off the Wizards' guard. During their first-round series, Stevenson committed a flagrant foul on James, which almost led to something physical. Luckily, cooler heads prevailed. After a brief hibernation period, the disagreement resurfaced during LeBron's Miami getaway, the two clashing in the 2011 NBA Finals against Stevenson's Mavericks. The rest, as they say, is history. James was consistently frustrated by the Dallas zone and played poorly for most of the series, eventually culminating with the Heat losing the Finals 4-2, giving the Mavs guard a title before LeBron. Stevenson, ever the class act, celebrated the championship with a "How My Dirk Taste" t-shirt. Number 2, Joakim Noah and LeBron James. The feud between Joakim Noah and LeBron James remains consistent, starting in 2009 during the LBJ's original stint with the Cavs. Off the court, Noah openly took shots at Cleveland during the 2009 season, stating Cleveland really sucks. During LeBron's time in Miami, Noah again let his voice be heard, commenting, "We don't like the Miami Heat, and it always feels good to beat them," and also called the squad Hollywood as hell. LeBron has returned fire, saying that Noah's trash talk was disrespectful and to watch his mouth. On the court, the two have exchanged many hard fouls, trash words, and physical play. During the 2013 and 2015 playoffs, the two stars were issued double technical fouls after trash talking and physical play crossed the line. While it seems that Noah has been on the decline over the past couple of seasons, there is no doubt that whenever these two meet, mouths will run, bodies will crash into each other, and sparks will fly. Number 1, LeBron James and Stephen Curry. Since LeBron James entered the NBA, he has been one of the most polarizing figures in the league. There have been a few players who have briefly grabbed the spotlight from James, and one of them has stood out more than the others. Stephen Curry went from a lightly recruited guard out of Davidson to one of the best shooters in the league history. For a long time, Curry and LeBron did not get along, and there were a number of factors behind their mutual dislike. Now that they get along relatively well, let's look at why LeBron James didn't like Stephen Curry and what turned things around in their relationship. As James was creating a dynasty in Miami, the Warriors were using 3 excellent draft picks to shape their future. They selected Steph Curry with the number 7 overall pick in the 2009 draft and Klay Thompson with the number 11 pick in the 2011 draft. Anyone watching basketball knew that Curry and Thompson were developing into excellent players. Curry had a long range, and Thompson was the best catch-and-shoot player in the NBA, who also handles the opposing team's best perimeter offensive weapon. As the buzz around the Warriors grew, it was clear that they were taking the spotlight away from LeBron James. And of course, James wasn't really happy about it. Did you know that these players hated each other? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a video from us. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. See you in the next video.